Well, hello everyone. This is your preparation reading for the upcoming Halloween Healing Circle. And the messages in here are all about what needs to be healed along your ancestral lines so you could move forward in your life. A lot of the things I'm feeling so far are about releasing sadness, grief, rage, resentment, and so on from the DNA. And this is to really allow this further lightening of the load or burdens that you and your ancestors are still carrying. The playlist for this group, it's really for you to listen to that music and allow the music and the energy in it to begin the healing process. Like I mentioned in my newsletter and in my announcements on social media, this playlist is a little different and a little bit more intense, which understandably reflects the rage and the level of anger and other really toxic and heavy energies that are needing to be released. The playlist is varied, and you are allowed to choose whichever song that you want to listen to just to connect to the vibe of the healing circle. Let's now get into the message here, or the messages in here. Corrects one spirit guide. We'll begin with the energy that is coming in. So, what is that? Wonderful. This is really good news. The end of a tough cycle approaches. I am relieved to see this card because I know a lot of you have reached out to me and shared with me how hard and what a challenge it was the past few months, particularly the eclipse season, and how much you've learned and what else is still needing to be released. And you recognizing that is a huge step that's going to spill over into this healing circle. And perhaps the rest of the cards may reveal what it is that needs to be released. So, how wonderful. The end of a tough cycle approaches. And as the end of that tough cycle approaches, know that you and your loved ones are safe. That's the next card. So, with this card, you and your loved ones are safe. It references the new moon. The new moon actually happens the day after Halloween, November 1st. There is something there where on that date, something shifts within you. So, how wonderful and how in alignment that you are going to be part of the circle to release any old energies on the most opportune day of the year, when the veil between this world and the spirit is the thinnest, to do this deep work and communication with your ancestors or with your spirit guides. So rest assured that there is a tough cycle ending and that you and your loved ones will remain safe and continue to be safe. And with the new moon on November 1st, there's some sort of a new cycle that would happen for a lot of you. That message has been a very common message in my private readings. So do keep that in mind. Of course, now as we move towards the 31st, Spirit is taking this time to bring forward any other repressed emotions and perhaps create situations where you will be triggered or make you realize, something needs to change here. And that's what the next card, emotions are running high, speak about. Pay attention to those emotions. What is it trying to tell you? If it's anger, were there any boundaries that were crossed, morals and ethics that you witnessed and didn't feel right about it? Something didn't sit well with you in your gut. And as I said, in your gut, I saw a lot of your digestive systems have blocked energy. And when I see blocked energy in the gut, it tells me where there have been decades or perhaps ancestral trauma that's been passed down to you that's lingering in the gut, preventing you from digesting life and seeing life as it truly is and being comfortable both with the good and the bad. We will do a lot of that balancing work there. All of a sudden, I'm feeling thirsty. That tells me that every one of you needs to have at least 2 glasses of water next to you as we go through this 1 hour online healing. And during that 1 hour of healing, you're welcome to get up and use the bathroom if you need to. When someone needs to leave and use the washroom, I do pick up on the energy. And what I do is when I feel you have returned to the circle and connected back to the circle through the earphones, I do update your energy there or do any healing work that you may have missed while you have been using the restroom. So know that leaving the circle is okay if you need to listen to your body. Now, going on to, okay, let's see which ones they want to work on next. They want to work on the plants. There are a lot of cards here that have come out, so this reading may be a little longer than usual. And what these plant medicine cards speak to are the energies that you are stepping into. First card that come out, endurance. You're learning about how to endure things, not from a place of, oh, I'm going to put up with it, but more from a place of, I have the strength to deal with this. You all need to be updated on the virtue and the teachings of endurance from the creator's perspective, because all of us are running on the definition of resilience or endurance from the earth level, which is quite outdated. And it's very much related to our ancestral beliefs of just putting up with life and putting up with its misery and pain. Let's release that because that's blocking your abundance. And let's really update your Akashic records also, including all your past lives, releasing the trauma there of when you had to endure something that was really uncomfortable to the point where it may have broken you. Endurance is one of the messages, and the plant medicine that's associated with endurance is ginseng. Now, with these plant medicine cards, the creator isn't saying, yes, this is, or these are the plants that you need to use or eat. If you feel called to do so, great. If you're already connecting to these medicines, wonderful. Keep doing that if it works for you. And it may not be just eating or consuming these plant medicines. It could be you going down the rabbit hole and doing a research about these medicines and its other healing properties. By doing that, it's going to plant some seeds in your mind. So when you do need them, you know when to use it and how much. The next plant here is slippery elm, and she wants to talk about soothe. So how to soothe that nervous system after this overexertion of energy and endurance into whatever you had to deal with in the past few months through the eclipse. And even way before the eclipse, I could feel just decades of this hypervigilance and overdrive in all of your nervous system that needs another layer of that being released. The next plant medicine here is yarrow. And I couldn't quite read it, so that's why there was a pause there. But it is yarrow. And she's talking about being open. And when we go through so much hardships in our life, it's hard to be open to new adventures or new beginnings or anything new because we are just so exhausted. And I could feel this heavy, heavy level of exhaustion in all of you. And it's stored at the physical body. We will release that and boost your DNA, do that reactivation of the youth and vitality chromosomes within you. Because if your body's not feeling healthy and vibrant, then it's hard for the soul to fully relax and integrate from all the downloads or healing that it has received. With the yarrow plant spirit asking you to be open, she's also wanting you to look at where have you been closed to certain things. And those are things that you are feeling resistant to. And does that make sense? And does it continue to make sense as you desire to evolve forward and, let's say, invite more love or abundance in, or anything else in? Perhaps it's a new learning or a new experience. I think that's all the plants want to say. And we're going to go now into the cards that speak about the rest of the journey that you are on. And this may add more details to the moon cards that were spoken about earlier, about emotions running high, you and your loved ones being safe, and a tough cycle that is ending. I'm not surprised Rose Spirit decided to come in and give some messages. The first card refers to the rose garden. So where inside your heart do you want to create this beautiful garden of memories, also your own personal energy, and how would you like others to connect with you in the most healthiest ways? How would you like to connect with others? I'm hearing the word community, and I'm not surprised because that's one of the messages that I've been personally receiving from the creator, to create more of that face-to-face time in the Patreon community that the creator and I like to facilitate. So for you personally, where do you want to create more of that connection or community? Rose Spirit is coming in with a lot of her soft, velvety rose petals. In particular, they're bright red, very much how the ones in the tarot cards look like. And with that, she's placing a lot of that beautiful red, soft and warm, velvety energy in the heart, but also in the root chakra. And that's because she wants you to feel a solid understanding and embodiment of security and safety. When we don't feel safe and secure at the root chakra, we block abundance, we block love, and many other things. And I'm hearing that there's quite a bit of the root chakra that needs to change and shift energy-wise so that you are more open to experiencing new things, or open to a different perspective of seeing something, and so on. And I feel that this whole rose garden theme is going to play out in the end of our time in the circle, where we do some manifestation work like we always do. Rose Spirit is actually tapping me on the shoulder and telling me to go back to the other plant card with the yarrow spirit, where the yarrow spirit spoke about being open. And on that open card, there's a drawing of a key. So you already have the keys to unlocking certain abundance or unlocking certain energies within you. But because of the fear and the trauma that you developed in this lifetime or inherited from your ancestors, you can't find that lock where you could put that key in and unleash that door. I'm seeing 4 to 5 different doors that could potentially open in each and every one of you. Those are doors to deeper self-understanding, a door to connecting even further with your psychic abilities and being able to live and flow with life. So these are very important doors that needs to be unlocked and opened. Rose Spirit is saying, continuing on with the other cards, the journey. And with the next few months coming forward, leading up to February, I'm hearing, because this new cycle that we're in, I don't know what it is because I'm not an astrologist, and I don't know what's going on planetary wise, but getting a sense that up until February is when this whole cycle will complete itself. So from now until February. And what would this journey be and look like for you? And you will start to see that in the journey that we will take when we float down that river in the spirit world with our ancestors. For now, think about where you've traveled so far, not just physically traveled, but spiritual travels through your own meditations in your mind with spirit, or your own inner journey, your own healing journey. How has that path been like? And how would you like that to evolve in the next 4 months? Interesting. Okay. This next card has keys on it. Interesting, because Rose has asked me to go back to a previous card and talk about the key. This card speaks about keys on trees, and I'm hearing creators say, literally, you are being dangled keys in front of you, but you can't see it. So we will lift that veil, whatever that's clouding over you. And what I'm seeing that cloud or veil over you is what other people have said you are, and it has programmed you to be blind to your own light or be blind to other opportunities that are in front of you, and even blind to the doors that are literally in front of you. You'll notice on the card there that I've attached in the email to you, keys on trees at the very top. Oh, so if you heard the hammering or the nail gun outside, here's a very important message that Spirit is trying to nail into you. There it goes again. Keys on trees. You'll notice on the card that there's this beautiful tower and this spiral of stairs going up. At the top is an elephant that's caged in. And that's where your soul is right now, just caged in. But you'll notice that the elephant is dangling the key. Literally, you have the key, but you can't see the veil, the cage that has been enclosed around you. Thank you to the construction workers for that validation. They were quiet, and I thought, great, I will start recording. But I guess not. That's okay. Let's now get into the truth of what really needs to be healed. We'll get into the 9 cards that have come out, starting with the storylines of what needs to be healed within your maternal line. And I'm just being told to just read these out. I remember every detail of that day. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. I look for you everywhere. So there's a sense of loss and regret of, I wish I had done things differently. And I keep seeing that image of the cage again, where they were really caged in and couldn't see what was really going on and how they were actually caging themselves in. This is very much patriarchal wounds and also matriarchal wounds. Interesting. I'm hearing from the creator that the definition of matriarchy got warped along with patriarchy. We will update those definitions within you, so both your divine feminine and masculine are balanced, and that you're operating from a place where energetically you are balanced and able to make decisions with clarity. And there you go, more of that nail gun going off. I remember every detail of that day. This card speaks about this moment of trauma, that it was so traumatizing that they actually remember that detail. And that is being stored as anxiety and hypervigilance in your body. Wow. As soon as we started on these trauma cards and the truth cards, the nail guns started to go wild. Let's now get into the divine masculine wounds. What's the storyline there? The trauma that needs to be healed. I have trouble with intimacy. So there's this issue of connecting at a deeper level with you. And by the way, with these divine masculine and divine feminine trauma messages, it relates to you, but it also relates to the paternal line and the maternal lines also. So I have trouble with intimacy, something in the patriarchal figures in your lives that have this need to look strong and tough, and that has caged themselves in a way that they are unable to reach out and receive help or emotional connection, and therefore developing intimacy in healthy levels. Oh, wow, this one's very, very scandalous. I find you so attractive. Interesting. This card popped out. I remember when I was shuffling, this particular one popped out quite quickly. And I'm going to just allow that card to come in because I feel this would probably resonate with any of the traumatized patriarchal figures in your life and in your ancestors. They find one attractive, but their mental mind is kicking in and telling them, no, this isn't the right one. And where did that disconnect come in of following their heart versus following the mind? So this is what the card is about. When cards like this come out, please don't take it literally like, oh, they find me attractive and I must go for them. It's not about that. We go deeper in these healing circles with the Creator, as you know. So where have you also operated from the mind and not so much from the heart? Or the opposite, where have you operated too much from the heart, being too romantic with everything and getting yourself into heartbreak or trouble, where you should have stepped in more into the mind and saw things from a perspective and allowed logic and reason to balance what you were feeling in the heart. I Can't Do This is the final card from the Divine Masculine card pull of the trauma that needs to be healed. And there's this level of exhaustion, once again, of that masculine energy or figure within your ancestral lines that they just can't do it anymore, of constantly being the protector or the provider or trying to meet this masculine ideal that they've held themselves up to or the society holds them up to. We are now going into the messages of closure here, of any sort of karma that needs to be released and marked as learned, completed, and finished in your Akashic records and your ancestors. They're asking me to just once again read all of this out. Sometimes I didn't know what to do. I was wrong and I am sorry. Happiness is not a betrayal of me. Wonderful. So again, releasing some confusion of what's expected of them versus what they really want to do or called to do. So there's that mind versus heart polarizing energies happening there. And I was wrong and I am sorry. There's this deep sense of need for forgiveness from you. There's need for forgiveness from both family members who are still with you on earth and those that are in spirit. And once that's cleared, you'll feel this lightening of the load within yourself. This might be a bit of a heavier healing circle than I had anticipated. So please have some tissues ready. And your videos are off, so know that you can process all this very privately. And if you do need additional boost of energy, know that I am tuning into each and every one of your energies throughout the entire circle, and I could blast out and send just some extra unconditional love from the Creator, or do those bonus healings that I always do when we gather together, just to support the energy ups and downs that you will experience. Happiness is not a betrayal of me is very much your ancestors and those who are no longer in your life saying, I want you to be happy, and you being happy is not insulting to me or offending to me. If you feel that way, please let that thought go. And when we feel we can't be happy because it might make the other person feel less or worse about themselves, then we are caging ourselves in, aren't we? Looks like the image of the cage is definitely a big, big symbol from Spirit that we're going to be working with. Let's get into the coffee cards here. And usually these coffee cards that speak about signs from the spirit world happens in the integration reading, but they're wanting to come out now just so there's additional support and signs that you could look out for to guide you, to help you look into what are these emotions coming up and what is it that needs to be addressed or acknowledged. First card, ship. Directions and journey. Interesting. I believe the word journey, yes, had come up twice. So when words or images come up twice, it means it's a very important theme in our gathering. So far we have keys and we have the word journey. Keep those in mind. Those may come up as signs in your life up until we meet. So when you see a ship, and it could be a ship if you live next to an ocean. If you see a ship, that could be a sign, or a ship drawing on a children's book that you happen to see when you walk by a bookshop. Know that it's Spirit's way of saying there's a new journey that's going to happen. And this makes sense based on the eclipse season we just completed, and one of the first cards speaking about tough times are now coming to a close. Let me just look at the exact wording here. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Yes. And now that tough time is approaching, there's a new, lighter, more fun, and more enlightening, and I'm also hearing illuminating journey that will begin. And it will come to an end sometime in February. But there's a new direction that's going to happen in your life. And as soon as I said that, the nail guns went off pretty crazy outside again. So very important to know that there's a new cycle and a journey starting. Oh, how appropriate. The next sign that you might see from Spirit is a witch. And it talks about magic and curses. There's a fear in your ancestors about curses. You will need to release that fear. If you have a fear of curses or people sending negative energy to you, that fear itself will allow that negative energy to start playing out in your life. We will do some downloads from the creator's perspective of what curses or negative energy is all about. And that's just going to strengthen you, make you feel more resilient, and definitely impervious to negative energies that others will send your way. When you see a witch, also be aware of magic that's going to come your way. And that magical feeling or that energy of magic is all part of that new journey that's going to start for you on November 1st and onwards. The final sign from Spirit to look out for. Interesting. This card has come out quite a few times in my private readings. Old man. It speaks about inheritance and any male figures in your life. Interesting that this had popped out because I did get a sense that a lot of the ancestral healing needs to happen along your paternal lineage. And as I'm saying that, the nail guns are going off crazy again. So that's Creator's way of saying, yes, this is very important, healing the paternal lines. So if you see an old man or perhaps an elderly family member who is a male and you happen to see them or think about them, there's something that needs to be healed there through that person's DNA. And what did you inherit in terms of negative beliefs or positive beliefs from your paternal lineage? My goodness, every time we talk about trauma, the nail guns go off crazy. Usually at the end of the reading, Spirit wants to focus on one major thing, and they're making me pick up the card open. And remember the message of being open to life and other things from the Yarrow Spirit. So I look forward to channeling this circle for you. And once again, on the open card, I do want to point out for the second time the key that is drawn on here. So you already hold the key and know that. And Spirit wants to end this reading on that message. I look forward to seeing you in a week or so. Enjoy your day, everyone. Bye.